Imagine it is the spring of 2019. A bottom-feeding website, perhaps tied to Russia, surfaces video of a sex scene starring an 18-year-old Kirsten Gillibrand. It is soon debunked as a fake, the product of a user-friendly video application that employs generative adversarial network technology to convincingly swap out one face for another. It is the summer of 2019, and the story, predictably, has stuck around, part talk show joke, part right-wing talking point. It's news, political journalists say in their own defense. People are talking about it. How can we not? Then it is fall. The junior senator from New York State announces her campaign for the presidency. At a diner in New Hampshire, one low-information voter asks another, "Kirsten, what's her name? She's running for president? Didn't she have something to do with pornography?" Welcome to the shape of things to come. In 2016, Gareth Edwards, the director of the Star Wars film Rogue One, was able to create a scene featuring a young Princess Leia by manipulating images of Carrie Fisher as she looked in 1977. Mr. Edwards had the best hardware and software a $200 million Hollywood budget could buy. Less than 2 years later, images of similar quality can be created with software available for free download on Reddit. That was how a faked video supposedly of the actress Emma Watson in a shower with another woman ended up on the website CelebJihad. Programs like these have many legitimate applications. They can help computer security experts probe for weaknesses in their defenses and help self-driving cars learn how to navigate unusual weather conditions. But as the novelist William Gibson once said, the street finds its own uses for things. So do rogue political actors. The implications for democracy are eye-opening. The conservative political activist James O'Keefe has created a cottage industry manipulating political perceptions by editing footage in misleading ways. In 2018, low-tech editing like Mr. O'Keefe's is already an anachronism. Imagine what even less scrupulous activists could do with the power to create video framing real people for things they've never actually done. One harrowing potential eventuality: fake video and audio may become so convincing that it can't be distinguished from real recordings, rendering audio and video evidence inadmissible in court. A program called FACE2FACE, developed at Stanford, films one person speaking, then manipulates that person's image to resemble someone else's. Throw in voice manipulation technology, and you can literally make anyone say anything or at least seem to. The technology isn't quite there. Princess Leia was a little wooden, if you looked carefully. But it's closer than you might think. And even when fake video isn't perfect, it can convince people who want to be convinced, especially when it reinforces offensive gender or racial stereotypes. Another harrowing potential is the ability to trick the algorithms behind self-driving cars to not recognize traffic signs. Computer scientists have shown that nearly invisible changes to a stop sign can fool algorithms into thinking it says yield instead. Imagine if one of these cars contained a dissident challenging a dictator. In 2007, Barack Obama's political opponents insisted that footage existed of Michelle Obama ranting against Whitey. In the future, they may not have to worry about whether it actually existed. If someone called their bluff, they may simply be able to invent it, using data from stock photos and pre-existing footage. The next step would be one we are already familiar with: the exploitation of the algorithms used by social media sites like Twitter and Facebook to spread stories virally to those most inclined to show interest in them. Even if those stories are fake, it might be impossible to stop the advance of this kind of technology. But the relevant algorithms here aren't only the ones that run on computer hardware. They are also the ones that undergird our too easily hacked media system, where garbage acquires the perfumed scent of legitimacy with all too much ease. Editors, journalists, and news producers can play a role here for good or for bad. Outlets like Fox News spread stories about the murder of Democratic staff members and FBI conspiracies to frame the president. Traditional news organizations, fearing that they might be left behind in the new attention economy, struggle to maximize engagement with content. This gives them a built-in incentive to spread informational viruses that enfeeble the very democratic institutions that allow a free media to thrive. Cable news shows consider it their professional duty to provide balance by giving partisan talking heads free rein to spout nonsense or amplify the nonsense of our current president. It already feels as though we are living in an alternative science fiction universe where no one agrees on what is true. Just think how much worse it will be when fake news becomes fake video. Democracy assumes that its citizens share the same reality. We're about to find out whether democracy can be preserved when this assumption no longer holds.